Hello and welcome to Walker Tea Review. I'm your host Jason Walker, and we're here to kind of get together. We do this 3 times a week so that you have plenty of opportunities. You've got plenty of time to go back and look at our previous episodes. But we're really here to, one of the things that we're doing is, if you don't know how to make tea, that's one of the basic things of, or basic skills of using loose leaf teas and getting the best out of them, especially if you're trying to transition from a tea bag experience into something more natural, more flavorful in many cases. So that's what we're going to be doing. And to do so, we're going to be looking at a challenging tea. So if you can do a Japanese green tea like this one, the door is wide open for you. So let's go ahead and get involved in this tea and talk a little bit about it. If you're making tea for the first time, a couple of basic or simple tea making tools that you want to use, some equipment. I recommend an electric kettle. It's easy to be able to set it, or a lot of times, flip it to boil. And if you don't have, if you're not using a black tea, if you're using a green tea or something that would prefer or works better with a lower steeping temperature, that's great because you easily flip it off. It's still easy to carry, easy to pour, easy to move around. Okay, you can put the base for a kettle like this on your desk or somewhere nearby as well, so you don't have to be running around to a kitchen area. So the other thing is our gaiwan that we're going to be using, and of course our tea. We'll be talking a bit about our pitcher here and our cup. The pitcher is a little bit more optional, but of course the basic useful tool is a spoon. You can get a regular kitchen use proper spoon, but I find that if you just stick with one spoon of the right size, or of the same size, consistent size, then you're going to be able to repeat that process through your own experience. Now what I've done here is I filled up about it was about 3/4 of the spoon. This is a regular table issue tea spoon. I'm actually going to add just a pinch, about just another about a half or a third of a spoon there, just because I want to give plenty of strength to this tea. We are going to be doing something a little bit differently. I mean, if you are a professional cupper, professional taster, you're using water that's been brought to a full boil oftentimes, so that way it's consistent. You get a consistent temperature across all teas. Japanese green teas, especially delicate ones like this, prefer a lighter temperature, so we're compromising on that because we want something a little bit closer to the regular drink-at-home experience and not to a professional taster's experience. Our water's been allowed to cool. It's been brought to a near boil. It started to kind of rumble, but then we've allowed it to cool there for, I'm going to say 30-40 seconds as I've been talking here. So this is a Japanese green, as I mentioned. This is a Shincha, which is not to be confused with a Shincha, but a Shincha, which is a tea, a fresh tea, some of the first of the harvest, first of the season, first harvest of the season, rather, is what I'm trying to say. It's delicate. It's going to be rich. It's going to have a lot of those. It's going to have Japanese green tea characteristics. We'll be talking about what that actually means. Now, because it is a delicate tea, very fine filaments, it means it's going to steep fairly quickly, and it can be easily oversteeped. So I'm actually going to halt the steeping process now. If you're tasting at home, again, another part of the how-to, middle finger, thumb on your gaiwan, which is the covered bowl, the Chinese style of serving. Index finger holds the lid in place. And you want a pretty narrow opening because these fine filaments will slip through. I'm not so concerned about it. You drink enough. If you drink enough Asian teas, a lot of your tea leaf ends up in your cup, and so you learn to kind of use your lips and teeth as a natural strainer there. So I'll let that sit. That should be good in there. But as we go through a tasting, the other how-to part is being able to appreciate the tea. There are a lot of things you can pick up before you even, pour the water on it that can give you clues as to how this tea is going to fare. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this tea before I go too far. This is from Maedaen. Maedaen is it's a Japanese company, but it's has offices in California, I believe Irvine, California. This is their 2010, which Shincha, meaning like I said, that new crop. If you look on their website, I believe their Tokujo Shincha, which is one of their kinds of Shincha, sells for, it's a super premium labeled, or described as, 3 ounces for $38. Now their Uhashiri Shincha is currently sold out. So depending on when you go online, you may or may not be able to find a Maedaen Shincha new harvest tea. They may already be sold out. But something to keep in mind for next year, if you're in the market, this sounds like a tea that's going to tickle your fancy. You're going to want to know, jump in pretty early. Start looking around April to May. Late May, you may actually see it in stores available or online available. And let's talk a little bit about this dry leaf as we talk about teas here. Now there are some components or characteristics that are often associated with Japanese green teas. There was a sweet pea component to this, combined with a creamed spinach. There's something sweet, vegetal, spinach, pea, so there's a nice combination there. You know, I close it up, shake it around a little bit, release some more aromas. I'm not getting any kind of seaweed, marine type components. If they are, they're very subdued. But this is sweet. This is got almost a little bit of a kind of, if you could say, a sweet metallic. There's something metal smelling in this, almost like you know, like a steel plate, like a file cabinet. Something in there that just smells a little bit metallic. And then, of course, when we look at these leaves, we do want to, when we examine the dry leaf, we want to look at the leaves rather. And you're getting a variety. You're going to be getting some filaments, which are going to be very thin, brittle, fine, deep emerald green type of needle looking, up to or about 1 inch in length. That's going to be the maximum, down to a very fine, powdery, again, dark, rich green component there. And that's, I mean, this is due to the steaming and rolling processes that are involved with making Japanese green teas. They are intense, they are fragile, they're clipped, usually clipped by machine, the hedge trimmer type machine. So and a lot of the twigs, the twiggies and the stem components are filtered out pretty thoroughly. So it's not going to be compared to a Chinese green that you're going to be able to see the intersection of 2 leaves or something on the twig or stem component there. So rich green colors, also had a little bit of a glossy color to them, a little bit of a sheen still on there. It does look bright, it looks shiny as far as the color goes. And we said rich green color, so that's one of the main components there. Seal that up really nice and tight there. And let's go ahead and look at our wet leaf, talk about that for just a moment before we pour and really get into our liquor. So let's give this a smell. Now a bit more of the salty component is coming out in the wet leaf. This feels richer. This feels it's getting a heavier feel. It's getting, like I said, a spinach that has been steeped in or boiled in chicken broth. So it's got a rich, brothy, soupy, hearty type of texture or component to it in the aroma. Quite nice. Now, because these are fine, very fine pieces of very delicate leaf, very young, new leaf, it's all become a big kind of a soggy, solid mass. You're not going to really be able to pull out a lot of leaves. You can pull out little bits of leaf component, traces or portions of leaves. I'm going to spread that one out because that one is about a roughly ½ inch in length, and it's about ½ inch in at the widest, about ½ inch in width as well, and you can still see the jagged edges. So there is a bit of character coming out in some of this wet leaf. Okay, you are seeing little pieces, and I'm going to go ahead and pull that out. Occasionally you get a little bit of stem that's starting to show its face, and it really stands out. It's really more visible, or more easily visible, in the wet leaf. Stem is still dark green, delicate, kind of chewy. A little bit of chewiness there. So, but still, overall, looking brothy, looking rich green in color, as we said. Get rid of that extra little gunk there. Now let's get ready for our liquor now. Nice color. It's a bright color. Well, it's a bit of a pale. It's a pale green, but it's a pale, almost glowing green. So it's got a richness. It's got a vibrancy to it. It's, if I had to say, it's moving just ever so slightly over towards the yellow end of the green spectrum. So that's what we have. Again, rich brothy type smells. Got a rich spinachy type smell, like a boiled spinach soup type of smell. Strong, good clear aroma coming off. With a fairness pitcher like that, it does, if you pour slowly, it does allow you to kind of let the leaf pieces settle there, and you can get out a clearer cup, a cup with less leaf portions in it. First thing that hit me was salty. This has a seawater component or feel to it. Astringency there. It's a fuzzy coating on the mouth. I mean, this feels like carpet, freshly laid carpet. It has taken over the sides, tongue, and roof of your mouth. It's a nice, thick, fuzzy type of feel to it. Aftertaste moves a little bit, moves more so towards a like a little bit of that metallic type of feel, like you've got maybe a nickel stuck in the back of your throat and you can't quite get it out. I'm trying to. So, looking at this tea as a whole, I'm going to have to give this tea, I feel like it's got a lot of worthwhile components to it, so I'm going to give this tea a 90. It does have a nice, rich body in the liquor, so it does give this, like I said, shag carpet feel in the mouth, which is a positive. It gives a marine kind of saltiness to it, another positive. It gives a bit, and as far as aromas and flavors go, this one goes a little bit more towards a spinachy, like I said, a chicken broth, boiled spinach type combination there. We noticed that aroma was in the wet leaf as well, and we noticed rich sweetness that came out that was present in the dry leaf, but it really didn't give us enough of a sweetness. That sweetness from the dry leaf really didn't carry over, through to the cup. Let me give it one more shot. Yeah, so it's that kind of lack of sweetness, plus that little bit of a metallic type feel in the back that just really kind of tilted this tea one way. It could have been higher, but it wasn't that high. So yeah, I'm going to stick with the 90 for this. Come back to Walker Tea Review, because we're going to be looking at other teas that you want to know how to make, that you want to be able to share here together. And that's here at Walker Tea Review.